Wonderful. Wonderful. Yeah, so we'll go ahead and start. I know that more people are signing on. It's astonishing. We are so profoundly grateful for your response and for your generosity. Just an amazing thing that's happening, because the local economy around Teotihuacan and all the different little communities that are there is so cash starved and so distressed that a dollar goes a long way. It goes 4 times further than it did in January. So if you donated $25, that's $100 worth of buying power. So it's just one of those strange miracles. I feel for the farmers because they've had to lower their prices, but at least we're keeping, we're helping in every different way possible. So thank you so much for that. And let's see, I do want to show you. This is Alberto and Veronica. Alberto and Veronica, when I first met them, were youngsters who had a blanket that he would put the things that he made on. And our relationship goes back probably 35 years. Now, I was a kid too, I'm telling you that. But these are really, really wonderful people. And they are now the people that are, this is just an example so that you see it. This is socially distanced. This line goes around the block and then it goes down a quarter of a mile of people maintaining social distance. And this is part of our food program. Besides feeding so many people every week, I mean, hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of people, we're also doing care packages that are really valuable and useful. So I want you to see that. There are other people I want you to meet, because there's multiple love stories that are woven through everything that we're going to do on our journey. This is Emily, and this is Victor, who, because Alberto has a brother named Victor, who we call Vicky's, we can't call this Victor Vicky's also, so we call him Nicky's to differentiate him from the other Victor. Anyway, that's how things work in Mexico, right? And the middle is Marcos. This is their son. This is the result of this vision and this painting. Those of you that have been to Teo recognize this as a painting in what we call the mother's room, which is the room where we meet. And this is the room that we're meeting in right now with this painting. When Emily first came to Teo, she had a vision of something unusual. The Virgin of Guadalupe, yes, we call her Tonantzin, but instead of she appeared in this indigenous native way that was mind-blowing for Emily, and she began painting. And I think that she was just a little bit of a painter, but she really got deeper and deeper into it. And as she painted this, she fell in love with Alberto and Veronica's son. And that's just one of many stories. But I wanted you to see this because this is someone who we are going to be connected with for our entire journey, someone who's, and Emily as well too, we'll be meeting her as well. I want to give you a sense of, today is an introduction. Today is really an introduction to our journey and to Teo, and an orientation to the work that we'll be doing, so that you really do have a sense for perhaps the difference in this journey. Not only is it a virtual journey, which seems to mean one thing, but it really is an actual journey into the energy fields of Teo. And it is something that Teotihuacan has been, the organizational intelligence of Teo has been orchestrating everything that I've done, and so many people have helped. And I have a feeling that you were here on purpose for a reason, because there is an opportunity that's being offered to us at a time of great challenge. But what I want you to see is today we are going to introduce, and many of you that have already been to Teo, that's fabulous. I know you're going to love continuing, but those who haven't, I will also be able to well, I won't be able to explain anything, but I will be able to share something about the journey that we're taking, and I'll do that now. So let's see. what I want to do. Oh, I want to mention a couple things too that along with these days that you can do this your way. I understand everybody's schedules are completely crazy and overloaded. So if you miss a day, or this will be recorded if we need to share it with somebody. So, I mean, do watch it if you haven't entered, even if it's Tuesday, watch this introduction because it will be profoundly useful. So if you miss a day, no worries. We are in a spiral. This is not a linear motion that we're making. If you miss something, you haven't lost a step. This is a dance. This is a flow that we're in. And you'll be able to come back and revisit places and people and things in a way that is really supportive and useful. Okay, so I'm going to come back now. And oh, one thing I also want to mention is that we have supplementary videos too that are going to be useful and helpful for everyone. One of the supplementary videos that I think is really, let's see, there's no nice way to put this. It's mandatory. Or what would be the feminine of mandatory? I don't know what it is. It's like she, Jen Freeman, one of our beloveds, offers a 17-minute morning Qigong, orientation, grounding, energetic alignment with Qi. It's beautiful, it's simple, and it's highly recommended. You can do it once, you can do it twice. I recommend every morning for our journey. You would do it at the Dreaming House, you would be doing it before breakfast, or you would be sleeping in and thinking about doing it, okay? So that's going to be, so I want you to remember that you're going to be doing that. Okay, so one of our contributors, one of the ways that this is going to work, I should have mentioned it when we had the calendar up, is that this is not a teaching journey. This is those that have been to Teo with teachers who have a pontificating point of view of things that they're a coherent field of information that they want to convey and that they expect you to take notes on. That's not what we're doing, okay? There's an awful lot of sharing. There's a lot to share, of course, but it's your direct experience in this field, this vortex that we enter, that is what our whole journey is about. And we'll actually demonstrate that, and you'll feel that even in just a couple of minutes. I'll share that with you. So we have a number of people that have been touched by Teo. Now sure, they could be teachers. They're very sophisticated people in many ways, and they could be guides in so many ways, but we're not calling on them to teach or to guide. We're calling on them to share a way of touching in on someone's experience that they're willing to share with you of the ineffable, of the magical, of the mysterious, of the practical energetics of being in a place that supports your flowering. So we have a bunch of people, we'll be introducing them. The first I'd like to introduce right now. Now you have to bear with me because these kind of things, I got to find her here. Here we go. Okay. Some of these things with Zoom compared to other formats, every time I want to share something with you, I've got to go through a two-step kind of dance. And I've just gotten used to it, but it can be just energetically, for me anyway, just a hint disconcerting. But what we're going to do is we're going to induce a light hypnotic trance over transitions so that it's no big deal. It's like going to the dentist and having acupuncture or something instead of Novocaine, right? It works. So please forgive me for this little induction of light hypnotic trance, and we're gonna have a blessing from one of our beloveds who's right at this moment is out on a sailboat. And I get it. Our lives are very, very busy, but we managed to find a way to be here. So let me share the screen for her. I'm gonna call her up, and we're gonna have a blessing from Barbara. Okay, where are you, Barbara?
Okay, hi everyone. I'm so delighted to bring you into an invocation for Teo, and I thought we'd start with the light. So I'm gonna do a nice little light of a candle here. So we have the light of Teo, we have the white light that's the healing, beautiful light, and we have the black light that's welcoming us. So let's just take a moment together and listen, because Teo is calling us There's a sweet, sweet land. And the stillness. The pyramids, the people, all of the guides, those that are walking the earth now and those that are in various forms, calling to each one of us. And so we have come together here to journey together in this time, to be blessed and to discover through this virtual shamanic journey to Teo that we are indeed artists of spirit. We are alive, we are awake. That's the truth of our being. Any part of us that is not awake is the part of us that is calling us to come and to become. And so I'm giving great thanks for all the contributions that have come into to join into this journey. For those contributions will feed the people, will take care of the land, and take care of us when we are there. I give great thanks for and blessings for the Dreaming House, and for all the people who are there. Because it is the people who are there, Veronica and Alberto and all of their staff, and those that take care of us on the lands like Martine and everyone who watches over us in Teo. I bless them, I bless us, I bless our journey. I bless the deepening, I bless the calling. I bless Francis for bringing us together. I bless each and every contributor who has had experiences there that have come forth to share. And I bless each participant for each participant in their own way of being simply present to the magic and miracles that will present themselves this week as we journey together, will be the evidence of the magic and miracles. And I hear the calling of grandmother and grandfather peppercorn tree in the plaza as the infinite possibility, all the places where we journey through our emotions and our mind and our connections to coming back truthfully to ourselves, that we may be living awake, aware, and here now fully as our gifts. For the time is now, and we are the ones that we have been waiting for. And so thank you. Thank you for coming. I welcome you. I bless you. I bless this journey. I bless this life. I call it good, magic. And I trust that each one's journey will be beautifully unique and purposefully and poignantly for each one of you who have come here. And so it is with great peace and great joy that in the black light of the impetus of life, that we all say yes. And here we are. And so it is. Ometeotl, aho. Welcome.
Sweet. I just got to figure out how to remember the transitions. That's lovely, isn't it? To have her. Yeah, so she lit a candle that we have right here, lit. Again, imagery. So it's amazing. We have people from France, from Italy, from Greece, from England, from Australia, Japan, Hawaii, Mexico, and all over the United States. We even have people, those of you that have traveled with me know that I travel with an astrophysicist just to keep my science straight. She's remarkable for her difference. She's as different from us as, you know, she speaks other languages altogether. So I'll just introduce her to you now so that you know that we're entering into, oh, there she is. She's coming over to see you. Yeah, this is Lucy. I'm actually holding her, which is like, she likes that too. And she is, she's a quantum physicist. She is an emissary of a deep intelligence that gets around the entire world. And one of the things, the point that she constantly makes to us is that there is no objective reality because there are no objects. She is not an object. She is a quantum field of vibration, of energy, of intelligence. And she is unusual in some ways because she talks to me. I think probably all rocks talk, but this one, you know, she's quite vocal, and I keep her on my mouse pad. And whenever I have difficulty coming up with something to say, you know, or like, what am I going to put into this? If anybody's written, writes, you know how difficult it is. She has many, many good ideas. So one of the things that she does is she's a reminder that our thinking is not our real perception. Our thinking is a circular exercise in objectification of reality. In some ways, a real stranglehold on reality. So I want to give you some terms so that it's like a get out of jail card for all of us. Virtual Shamanic Journey. Shaman and shamanism is not a noun. There is no such thing as a shaman because it's a verb, and it comes from the Tungvas language of the Siberian and Venki group of languages. And it was a word that was picked up by cultural anthropologists, Russian cultural anthropologists, and then borrowed by Western cultural anthropologists, because the alternative would have been vibrator. So I like the word shaman. I think that it's a good word for us to use because it does mean vibration. It means vibrating above and below and wider than the contraction of normal reality. It means jumping up and living, moving, dancing. We can have an experience of it right now. The difference between our normal reality and shamanic possibility, if you would just take your hand and hold it, you are going to want to look at it, please. So you're going to turn it, but I want you to see what I want you to do. Put your thumb inside your palm and put your fingers over the top. All the ancient wisdom traditions and teachings showed this as a model of the triune brain, which is metabolic, limbic, and neocortical. Of course, they called it the world of the snake, the world of the jaguar, the world of the eagle, the underworld, middle world, upper world. But this is a holographic representation of you. You were designed with a metabolic brain, the next outgrowth with limbic, and the next outgrowth is neocortical. This is in a shape. We also, by the way, just so we know, have gut intelligence, heart intelligence, and innate intelligence, all different than mind. So this shape, go ahead and squeeze it a little bit. Don't break your thumb, please, but squeeze that. This is what we call the trance. This is the field of chronic contraction of normal reality. Some of it we enculturated, we learned, we were domesticated. Some of it we adopt. Some of it is our attempt to stay safe by contracting. Some of it is fear-based because fears generate contraction. Some of it is just habit. Now, an experience of shamanism is to move from this disempowered, incapacitated, relatively it's good for hitting, right? Which our species seems to be very good at. But so I'd like you to feel the contraction and then gently open your fingers and wiggle them. You are shamaning. A virtual shamanic journey is a movement from our normal contraction of our beliefs, our somatic injuries and holes and compromises that we've made, into a place of open, spirited agility, active energy flow. What this means is that our journey is not a spiritual journey. I hope that doesn't disappoint anybody. Your spiritual beliefs are safe from me and from Teo. Enjoy them. We're not in the realm of spiritual belief. From where we're going, spirituality looks disassociative, sadly. We also, even though I'll be sharing with you a lot of the old wisdom traditions, There is no dogma. You don't have to learn anything. You don't have to jump over any hoops. You don't have to memorize something or be able to chant something a certain way or any of that. You're perfectly fine just as you are. There is no religious connotation or belief structure for you to adopt. Things are very much in motion, in flow. There is a mysterious, deep intelligence at work here. It happens to be your intelligence, but this deep intelligence that's emanating now, and I'll talk about that in a minute, this intelligence that's emanating is you, in alignment with you, the vast self of who you are. So, are you a shaman? There is no such thing. Anybody calls himself a shaman is kidding you, or they don't know that there is vibrational, open, agile. There's agility. There is the ability to be resourceful and creative beyond the contraction of the trance. So this is a hologram for how we're constructed and the lockdown that we live in. Now, you're not always locked down, of course. When you play with a cat or a kitten particularly, or a puppy, or a child, or when you're cooking with love, or when you're making love, maybe sometimes, or when you're in service to others, you open, but do you live in a state of open, agile, resourceful, creative connectedness with everything, with the field of responsive, agile, wild living? That's where we're going. So we're together on this journey, and I want you to know that even though I have a lot to share with you, I'm not here to teach you anything. Maybe unteach in a couple of places, but what I support is your direct experience. Teaching a closed, contracted system more information is not going to be helpful. Opening to the present moment is going to be helpful. And I don't know, Pam, are you here? Can you take yourself off mute? There's a poem that I love that, let's see, we just have to find Pam.
Right next to you.
Oh, there we go. Oh, and with Abby, so wonderful to see you guys. Pam, this poem really does describe our situation. Would you share it with us, please? And hi, Abby.
Hi, Francis. Good to see you and everybody. If you prefer smoke over fire, then get up now and leave. For Teo does not intend to perfume your mind's clothing with more sooty knowledge. No, she has something else in mind. Today, Teo holds in her left hand a flame, and in her right hand a sword. There will be no damage control today. For Teo is in the mood to plunder your riches and fling you nakedly into such breathtaking poverty that all that will be left of you is a tendency to shine. So don't just sit around this flame choking on your mind, for this is no campfire song to mindlessly mantra yourself to sleep with. Jump now into the space between thoughts. Jump now into the space between thoughts and exit this dream before she burns the damn place down.
Thank you. That is beautiful, really beautiful. It's also challenging, right? You hear that we're being challenged not only by opportunity that is here for us on this journey, but also by our own hearts hearing a cry of alarm. We're alive here on our planet. So rising to, is it a challenge? I think there's good news here. I think there's good news about becoming an artist of spirit as a better strategy than struggling or fighting in the reactive world against the cruelties and the vagaries and the disappointments of quote unquote normal life and the damages that are being done. The good news is that evolutionary illumination doesn't occur from some sort of a dramatic, life-altering lightning bolt in the head kind of an experience. Now, some people have had those experiences and bless them for it. Many times, though, on journeys, and this is why I'm talking about it, of course, many times on journeys, there's an expectation for some sort of expansive, unbelievable, psychedelic experience. And so when we don't have those experiences, many people will pretend. There's no pretense here. That's what this poem is about. This isn't about knowledge and acquiring knowledge, and it isn't about the pretense of spiritual development. This is about moving to your giftedness, the essentialness of you, opening to the present moment and being available to yourself, to your family, to your friends, to life on our planet. So to be able to do this, the simple description is we access our neuroplasticity. There's creative realms of resourceful, responsive, creative, compelling collaborations, creating mutual benefit for ourselves and others that are available to us if we're in this open, agile place. Opening is one part. Well, my analogy for this would be like surfing. Going out on the water on your surfboard, that's one part. But just being hammered, or saying I'm not going to open because it means my heart would be vulnerable to being broken. You paddle out, and then you realize that you can catch waves. So you open, and you catch waves of energy that are emanating from the heart of the black sun of our creation, of the cosmos that we're in. This has been something that's emanated in Teo and I'll talk about that in a minute. It's been an emanation that is now supporting our flowering. It's the only way I can really describe it. So the good news here is that you're not going to be, there is a challenge to us to bring our best selves to this journey, but the challenge is not to step up into some kind of strangeness or it's not the challenge that's provocative. It's a challenge that's invitational. Well, let me see if I can explain what I mean by this. It would be like, contemporary neurologists have found that actual shifting and accessing our neuroplasticity, where realms of possibilities that we never considered before exist, and suddenly lights get bright and we begin to become creative and resourceful, does not occur from the challenge that throws us into old adaptive strategies that are neurally pruned and cause us to behave with challenge the way we've always behaved, by hunkering down, by whatever our strategies are, fighting back, running, whatever we do. Actual neurological shift happens from gentle, easy, slightly slowed down, and increasingly subtle, intriguing behaviors, information, possibilities happening in the field around us, happening within us, novel experiences where we begin to notice something. Just noticing the tension of our chronically held contraction that we call, living in this civilization, and opening to the present moment. There's a little spark goes across your neurological field that says, is it possible to have a better strategy than fighting it out with an unrelenting reality that's posed against me in every way and that I'm the victim of, essentially? Is there another way to do this? So what we're talking about doing is, we're in a dark room, this contraction. We're not talking about setting the couch and the rugs and the pulling in the chairs and setting it all on fire so we have some light. No, we're talking about a really gentle, easy move of going over to where the light switch is on the wall, which is within us. It's a tiny movement, but the light comes on. That's what's possible on our journey. So some of the old traditions, they definitely said burn the furniture. The thing that's being burned down, the damn place that's being burned down, is the illusion that you're held in a contraction that you're a victim of. Entering to the shamanic journey means that you are recognizing, when you hear it, the truth that we create the reality that we experience. Your reality is your creation. Now, of course, we co-create with each other, and that's what we're going to do. We're going to co-create too. So entering Teo. Let's enter Teo. Now, I want to enter with, I'm going to do it one more time, Ron Tadelbaum, just this most wonderful person. He's so common sense. He's a medical doctor, and a really kind of a high-end one, but he has a very short, he only had a few words to say for us, but it offers you a window into how to enter. Okay. Let's see if I can find out how to do this here. I'll go to share screen. I'm going to share it, and we're going to get up there with him. Here we go.
So when I look forward to going to Teo, which I've been multiple times, and each time is just very, very different for me. Sometimes what happens very early and very quickly, and sometimes it happens in the middle, and sometimes it happens at the end, and sometimes it happens after I get home. But what I found is that what I look forward to for myself is the allowance to be free and to be me, and to stop all the chatter, to stop all the noise in my head, to be in that moment where there is nothing, and yet there's everything. And that happens particularly when I'm in the frame of mind where I'm allowing that to happen and not fighting it, not resisting it, and looking forward to it. And it's strange how it's so different every time I go. But I'm yet to have an experience there that hasn't been a wonderful experience. Each experience has been different in its own way. I remember my most profound experience was one where I had an insight in the first 15 minutes there that lasted for the entire trip. And that became everything for me. And it happened in the first 15 minutes. And what a wonderful experience to be able to share that with myself and share that with others and embellish on that and learn more about that for the next couple of days we were there. So Teo to me is a very special place. I don't know what's going to happen, but I know something's going to happen. And I know that I'm going to walk away from there different than when I arrived. And that difference is something that just feels good inside and something to look forward to for the next time when I go down there.
Thanks, Ron. Yeah, thank you so much.
How does that sound, all right?
Yep, that sounds all right. So what you're looking at is the reality that Teo is a 13-layer cake. And here you are looking at a number of layers, just at least 4 layers, just in this one. We'll come back to that. The history of Teo goes back 24,000 years in the old stories. Now, the language that we have heard the old stories in is a more modern language, a couple thousand years old. It's called Nahuatl. And it is the language that is spoken by the Mesotecs, which we mistakenly call Aztecs. There are no Aztecs. That's a word that was created by our cultural anthropologists, but now we say, hey, you want a Pepsi or you want a Coke, and we understand that you want anything that's frothy and cold and bad for you because it has so much sugar in it, right? So in Nahuatl, there's the stories and even words from the old languages. And the languages were verb-based. Like, this is where, Lucy comes in too, and where shaman is a verb. It means vibrating. It means it's vibrating. It's not a noun. And yet we speak English and we speak Spanish and we speak a number of languages that are noun subject object based. The tyranny of these languages is they objectify everything that we consider. And by defining it and limiting it, things are under control, we think. Of course they aren't, but our language and our minds, that's why we're, you know, so distressed most of the time, because things don't stay put the way that we want them to, or go the way that we want, because we're thinking rather than actually perceiving what is. The ancient stories are of 20,000 years ago, 16,000 years ago, 24,000 years ago. The melting of the ice caps caused the rising of the waters. They rose 3/4 of a mile. So all the coastal civilizations that were on our planet 24,000 years ago, and they're off the coast of course, they're off the coast of the Caribbean, off of Cuba, off of the Bahamas, off of Japan, off of India, all around the world. There was a civilization that's now underwater. Contemporary archaeologists using submersibles are now exploring this and bringing back pictures to the howls of protest from the tenured archaeological professors who want things to stay the same, the way that they figured out and wrote their papers on and got their tenured positions from. So a lot of controversy there, but these are the old stories that are coming true and they're demanding expression. So there are a lot of groups of people that were living on the coast that moved up into the highlands where we are at the Dreaming House, where Teo is in this field. All these 3 different groups of people, particular 3 different waves of immigration, the stories of them. This is a long time ago. Now maybe like 14,000 years ago, right? The shamans, the healers, the herbalists, the hunters, but the shamans particularly tuned to energy, they were not called shamans, they were called naguals. Nagual means, it's a verb, right? It means flowing of spirit. The more flow, the less rigidity of fixed personality. So the true nagual isn't the personality, maybe amused at the personality, amused in the sense of in Nahual, in the old language, the word nagual, which many people strive to be, thinking it's like being a shaman, means meat puppet, as in hot dog or hamburger or whatever kind of meat puppet. In other words, an animated field through which spirit flows unobstructed. This is the Nahual. Right? So these people in service to their tribes and their community would wander around and found some caves in this one area. Found a cave in particular through going into the cave and sleeping in it. Came out feeling weirdly, mysteriously, strangely refreshed and healed. Brought other people to these caves. She brought her whole tribe to the cave to celebrate wellness. This exploration found other caves. These caves are very unusual. This is a place of lava fields. The caves are 4-leaf clover shaped. There's 3 of them. And there's other little outcroppings of this place where this energy flows. And they are exuding an energy that they called black light. So when you hear us talk about black light, they're talking about something that emanates. Actually, we are a tiny little, okay, this is science for a minute, but we want to talk about it. Saul Perlmutter and a team of astrophysicists from UC Berkeley got the Nobel Prize in Physics now about 4 or 5 years ago for the bringing forward, they don't call it a discovery, of the knowledge of dark energy and dark matter. Now, that's usually a scary thing to call, but black light is so much better, don't you agree? No, dark energy and dark matter. And when asked, why did you call it that? Because in a Judeo-Christian culture, that's a very scary thing to say. It's like, we've got a lot of dark energy and dark matter around us. Well, they meant we're in the dark. We're the ones who don't see it. At least with black light, which I think is a much better way of describing it, you know that there is the light of normal sunlight, the light of life flowing in us, the unconditional love of white light. And then there's this mysterious, expansive other possibility. Well, it turns out that we, in our infinity, that what we call infinity, the far-flung galaxies, everything around us, everything, is a little tiny 4% slice of something now in the multiverse being called totality. So we have a place in totality, but it's a little tiny one. I mean, infinity is no longer a relevant word. It's too small. It doesn't encompass the ineffable, expansive totality of the iridescent, frothing, bubbling of language fails at this moment. What it lets you know, though, is that there's a lot more potential outside of the contraction that we live inside of the contraction of normal reality, the trance of our civilization, so-called civilization, inside of this tiny little field that we call infinity, that there is a lot more available to us. And in Teo, this expansive, pervasive energy may be held in what Saul called dark matter or black matter, maybe it would be called that. There are fields that express this. And the oldest vision of healing, because Teo became a place of healing, right? It became a place that was sacred because when people of all the different tribal groups brought people to these caves, the fighting was over, the struggle was over. The common interest was to participate in being healed by the energy emanating from these caves. They even got so fine-tuned as to say, you know, this cave seems to have a little bit more of this. Like when I put somebody who has a physical issue, they seem to get better. This place over here seems to be somebody who's really troubled. You know, they seem to begin to feel better and reorganize themselves. So they even began to differentiate the flavor of the energy, and they marked the caves. They marked it, and the markers grew, and they became pyramids. Teo became a place of small pyramids that marked the caves that we went for healing. As a place of healing and a place that was the first definition of sacred, this place also grew and became a place of coherence and of intelligence manifesting. So the intelligence that manifested was very practical. I call it practical energetics. You know, it's the practicalness of clay firing. It's the practicalness of weaving, of seed conservation, of agriculture, of dozens and dozens of things that we would call the practical sciences now, like plowing, like, I mean, just, you know, dozens of all the practical things that have to do with the quality of life were taught there. And the administrators of Teo, because Teo is a very strange place in that nobody can find the king of Teo or the queen of Teo, whose monument this is, like they do in Egypt. You know, who knows about those stories, really? But they did not find a personality-driven civilization. They found a collaborative, cooperative civilization. The ancient stories that I found in Bolivia and the Royal Highlands, where these people went, were the Calaueas, who were the administrators. They were called the indigenous healers of the Americas. And they traveled up from Teo, from central Mexico, and all the stories that I could find of the Inuits, of the Pueblo tribes, of the Plains tribes in the Americas, of all the Mayans and all the Central American tribes, and all the way down to the Mapuche people in the tip of Chile. All of these people tell the same story of a place that the healers would bring people from their tribes to, and then would return them as healers, as seed conservationists, as agricultural specialists. Joseph Rael, one of our mentors and one of our holy people that holds our journey, all their stories are of going to Teo. They learned pottery. They learned how to fire pottery with mica in Teo so that the pottery sparkled like gold. All these stories relate back to, from all these different indigenous cultures. There was a whole civilization. Now we have miscalled it a university of spirit. Teo is a university of spirit. Sounding very spiritual, right? Teo is a university in the sense of it is a universe of practical energetics that supported healing primarily until recently. In 2012, in November of 2012, creating a platform on the top of the Pyramid of the Sun, they removed all the rocks and started digging a footing to put a flat area so that the governor and his wife and people in high heels could stand on, instead of, if you've been to the top, it's a bunch of rocks and mortar. And in the course of taking this apart, they found some pottery shards that dated back to the year 840. They're really good at pottery and knowing about things about pottery. Then they dug a little further and they found the top of a copal urn the size of a hot tub. A copal urn is a structure a small container that you burn copal in. Copal is a tree resin that has it's like frankincense or myrrh or something like that. They found a copal urn on top of a fire god, on top of an obelisk. And the archaeologists were going crazy. And they brought a bunch of cranes and stuff there, and they started removing this stuff because no one had any idea that something so weird, so ancient could possibly be buried in the top of the pyramid. They never had thought to do the excavation. They did afterwards. Of course, they brought in equipment that did a sonogram of, the pyramid of Quetzalcoatl, pyramid of the sun, and pyramid of the moon to see what's in here. Made a lot of noise too in those caves. These machines are going, and so if you snuck your way in there, illegally, of course. So the local dignitaries who revere and treasure Teo were horrified at this terrible assault on the pyramid of the sun and the removal of this stuff. They thought it should be covered back over and buried. Well, they ended up covering it over, filling it in with dirt, restoring it so it looked like we didn't touch anything. That's what the Aztecs did, by the way, too, when they moved in 1,200 years ago to an abandoned city that had a water supply and agriculture and housing, and they moved in. What they knew to do was to fill in the places that had energy coming from it. We'll be seeing this in that 13-layer cake that I'm sharing with you. I'll show you a little bit of it right now. Oh, where are we? Here we are. So what the Aztecs did is they took anything that had energy and they filled it in. And so many of the places that we're going to have been recovered. Okay. This is what I was talking about when I said the Temple of Quetzalcoatl at the bottom of this diagram. Basically, this line is pointing just a little off of north. The Pyramid of Moon at one end of this long avenue that the Spanish misnamed the Avenue of the Dead. The actual name in Nahuatl was the Avenue of Those That Know the Way. The way of life and death as one experience. The way of continuity of life. So the Spanish called Avenue of the Dead. This must be the fortress of something, and this is over here. This is the way that these warriors thought, these conquistadors, was not in accurate terms for what the energies there were. Here's the Pyramid of the Sun. So this used to be a very large pyramid complex down here at Quetzalcoatl, and Pyramid of the Sun is the size that it became. The Pyramid of the Moon has extensive caves and structures underneath it that we do know some people that have explored. Let me see if we can. Black light. There's no way calling it black doesn't describe it because the words don't. How about iridescent? Remember when I was trying to describe the totality? Iridescent, frothing, becomingness, the verge of everything flowering and exploding into being as the multiverses of creation, of which we exist in a little tiny one that is the vast self itself expressing itself as you. So when we, our contemporary people, Don Miguel Ruiz and a number of others, the Toltec, began to explore Teo, they found a process that was represented from very ancient times by a double-headed snake. Now, Julie King and I have taken kids there, and their questions are, where does it poop? I mean, good question too, but what you're seeing is the idea that there's a process that you enter into one mouth of. This is not like anything found anywhere on the planet. There is nowhere on the planet where something like this, I mean, meditation is one thing, sitting in a cave and becoming enlightened, that's something, but what is this where you enter the mouth of a process and it's undulating, of course, although We tend to have made it linear, where you start, you go through different mesas, and you come in one end, you get spoken back out as something different on the other end. So what this is, it is an attempt to give you a vortex vibrational field that, in our language, in our interpretation, and in our idea that there's something wrong with us that needs to be developed and fixed, and that we need to become enlightened and all of that, because we know that somehow we're in the dark maybe, and we want to be woke, all that kind of stuff, that we saw as a very linear process, which our minds are. So the snake, you go in one end, you get spoken out the other. That was the process of going through Teo. That changed. That changed with this shift. The pyramid was opened at the top and energy began to roar. The traditionalists said, put everything back and seal it back up the way it was. Teo was thrilled. It, like a Rubik's Cube gone like crazy, it began to reorganize its mesas, and it began to set up a process that, when I came back after having been experienced with going through the Teo process and going through the body of the snake and blah, 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 and all that, suddenly walking into a whirling, vortexing blender of energy. Very, very different. A completely new world. And a new presence had entered, could not go. It's so hard to describe, because it was like everything was up for grabs. Teo itself was wide open. For me, I explored to find where is the opening, and I found some. I'll share a couple of things that you are going to have the benefit of. Is that we start with a connection with, you'll see other images of this. I just want you to meet her, Chalkulqui. She is the great mother. She is the great avatar of Teo. She is the one, she is the mother of flow. She is married to Tluk, who is the raging storms and sky and air and waters. This is another image of her. That earlier image is extremely old. This one is relatively recent. This may be maybe 6,000 years old, something like this. This is in the museum, the archaeological museum, where they took all that stuff, by the way, the obelisk and the copal urn and the other things, down into the basement so that people couldn't see it, because the archaeologists didn't want it to disrupt their theories, but it's disrupting them anyway, because we know about it. So as the restoration of Teo began to happen originally, these were the images that came out. This is Quetzalcoatl. He is the feathered serpent, it's called. And if I can share that with you, something with you right now, just so you can see. Remember the snake? The snake is an attempt to describe a process that's a vortex. The reason why it has two heads is because it's one snake. I mean, give a snake a break, right? It's spinning, it's vortexing. So you see one head over here and you see one head over here. It's the same snake. It's not two-headed. It is the same process of something happening on a deep vortex DNA level within us that we are going to be able to share on this journey, so that you have the benefit of this increased coherence and congruence in your own energy, because it flows in harmony in an undulating, spiraling vortex. Virtual journey, ha! You're going to be doing this. But anyway, going back to Quetzalcoatl. Who is this image? The flying, well, the metabolic being, the snake, who's present in real time as a limbically present being who flies. Feathered serpent means flying metabolic being. It's a verb. It's not trying to describe this is a snake with feathers. It's describing an action of moving from contraction into an opening. Quetzalcoatl is an open being who is metabolically present, limbically in the present moment, alive and awake, and flies simultaneously. So Quetzalcoatl's the avatar. we've called him the avatar of until until everything changed in November of 2012. And we call her a number of things. Chicacotl, which means she, the sister of the snake, she, the snake sister. She is the same being, the same metabolic potential, but she is, so now what you're looking at here is an ear. Okay, that is an ear and that is an eye, and her other eye's on the other side of her head there. She showed up. And she changed everything. The entrance that I found into Teo had nothing to do with pyramids, had nothing to do with temples and plazas and processes. It had nothing to do with any of that. It had to do with life expressing itself beyond the idea of healing into a place of the awakening of creation in support of our awakening as human beings. This is the journey you're entering to, a journey of awakening, like it or not, healed or not, complete or not, all figured out, all squared away or not, as you are in the presence of life. And that life, the opening was through a pair of trees. One of these trees is a female pepper tree who has the same vibration when you're there in her presence as Tonantzin, as Guadalupe. The other tree is a male tree. So can I share with you how profound this change? Semen, right? Semen is Latin. A Latin word for dormant, fertilized plant ovum. That's a semen. In other words, a seed. So men's ejaculate is chemically more akin to plant pollen than to anything else. See, it would really be more accurate to call men's ejaculate mammal pollen, the pollen. And when you're with those trees and you see her peppercorns and you see his magnificent pollen, a message speaks to you, and it says to call it semen is to thrust an insanity deep inside of our culture. A foundational insanity that we live in, that we are going to move out of. The insanity is that men plow women and plant their seed. When in fact, at best, what men are doing is pollinating flowers. Her other name, Quetzalcoatl, the flying flower. Chicacotl, she, metabolically present. We call her Chica, we love that. But Quetzalcoatl, this is who is your guide. This is the place of entry into Teo through these trees. So the fact that the relationship between masculine and feminine, between active and receptive, is one of pollination, not one of domination, exploitation, and not one of thrusting seeds. And that changes everything. Changed everything for me. It's going to change everything for you too. Let's go back and just look at this for a moment. And we're getting very close to being able to see our beloveds. We're hoping that we can connect up with Alberto. So here's just a scene of how pretty and happy the dreaming house is. This is our home. This is a place where we are comfortable and we enjoy life and we enjoy each other. Here's another scene just so you see where we're going to be going. Alberto and Veronica and Emily hopefully are inside of this casita. This is our cantina. This is our kitchen. When we're there, and this is why eating Mexican food this week is such a wonderful thing. We're hoping that, you know, make this week your Mexico week, you know, put up some wild colors, you know, wear some different things, have Mexican food for breakfast. What does that mean? Well, it's a way of making eggs where you dice like green beans into it, or, you know, you put tomatoes in something that you wouldn't normally think of. Just start using hot sauce. Don't start tequila before noon. Okay. I mean, that's rough, and we don't want you driving it like that either. So we'll save that for the end of the journey for right now, if you care to imbibe. So let's see if Alberto and Veronica are showing up.
Here we are.
Oh my goodness, it's our friends.
Saluda.
Hello. Hello, compadre.
Hey, compadre.
How are you?
This is so nice to see you. Everybody is, you know, it's so amazing. Hey, Emily.
How are you, Francis? Good to see you, my friend. I miss you.
Oh man, Nikki says, so nice to see you. You know, we're very happy. We have a group of people that their hearts open and they became so generous, and we have like 100 people on our call right now listening to you. This is the biggest journey to Teo that we have ever done, and we're doing it like this with you, Alberto.
I have a big place in my heart for everybody.
Oh, thank you, Alberto. Oh, Veronica. Hey, so Emily, we showed the mother's room very early in our exploration, and it had a picture of you and your handsome husband and your son, and he's holding churros, and you guys are very dressed up and looking very magnificent, like a love story come true. So it's so nice. You really are the one who that becomes our hostess when we're there, and Veronica. Oh, who else is coming in?
Marco.
Oh, Marco. you look a little bit bigger than we saw in the poster. I mean, in the picture that we put up. Gosh, it's wonderful to see you. Hey, you know, Alberto, I continue. Yes, I see what you have. I continue. Alberto is my guitar teacher. And you know, I played guitar for a long time, and mostly self-taught. But then when you find the real teacher, then you go with the teacher. And what he showed me was something that no other teacher shows you: how to hold the guitar, how to look at her. This is the same thing that happened in Teo, where Teo woke up to love and to connection. And so Alberto, as my guitar teacher, taught me, and we wrote music together. What we did was we went on the subways, right? And we made so much money, but we had such a fan club that Veronica made us stop. She said, "You are too popular." But I don't know if I can do this. Audio sucks when you're doing this, but I'm just going to give you just a little tiny bit, okay, of something. Veronica, 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 you're the one we love, Veronica. We like the way you look. We like the way you cook. We like the way you look. We like the way you cook, Veronica. It's a tradition, everybody.
Francis.
We have guacamole.
And Veronica prepared the spiciest salsa just especially for you.
Oh,
I have something more.
There's enough for me. Yeah. Oh, I see.
For Victoria, for everybody.
O tequila.
Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness.
But also we have something like Veronica, she liked to give on the breakfast, tamales. She wake up very early today and she make a lot of tamales for all the family.
Okay, for everybody. Well, it's tamales for breakfast, you
Come on
guys.
over and have a meal with us.
We want to be there. Everybody, the food is so delicious, and you'll notice this week that you stay very healthy because we cook in our own kitchens. You will be cooking in your own kitchen, and everything is washed and very clean and very healthy, and everybody's needs. You may only eat vegetables. You may only eat meat. You may only drink coffee or water. Everything you want is there. Although Alberto, I think Jasmine told me that the hot water is not working in her.
Yes, this morning was too early and I was too drunk yesterday and I forgot to come to work.
Okay.
That's the reason why. It's often happen. But I called Veronica and she say, I run and I'm gonna put the hot water in the shower.
Well, I want to talk to you more, but I know that we need, for the royalties, we need to play a little of our song, Guacamole.
Okay.
Okay, so let's see. And I know it sounds so bad when, I'll just do the best I can, okay? Francisco told Alberto about a thing he saw. It was green, it was in a great big jar. Guacamole, 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 guacamole. Alberto told Francisco, here's how you do it. You take a chip, you dip into it, guacamole, 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 yeah, guacamole. And then we usually go, because we make so much money on this song. It's like criminal. That I
You
know.
remember guacamole go together, mole mole.
Mole, mole, that's right.
Mole mole and guacamole.
Oh, man. Well, one of the things, secret about Alberto is that one of the things he loves to do is sing. And Pam, did you just eat some guacamole? I don't. I thought I saw her like dipping into it.
Compadre. Mole.
Yes.
I'm going to introduce you to the newest member of the Dreaming House family here.
Yes.
Aquí, pero ¿dónde está tu mano?
Oh,
Camila.
this is Camila's child. Oh, look at that.
Camila's daughter.
Her name is
Daughter.
Vanessa.
Oh man, she is cute, and she has sunglasses. Very.
Yeah, she's very styling.
Hola, hola, diles. Hola,
Oh,
hola.
that's really cute.
Hola.
Hola, hola, la chiquita.
Family is growing, compadre.
Oh yes, the family is growing. Well, we're going to be down there to see you very soon. We hope.
Sí. Then when you're gonna come back, we're gonna have two more in the
boy.
family, 2 more children.
Marco, you're not married yet, are you?
No,
No, Marco's
Carla.
not married. Okay, God.
Carla
that's
and
early.
Pancho.
You're not ready to be a grandmother, Emily. Yes, it's too soon.
No.
Hola,
Hola, amigo.
Oh my goodness, Carlita, hello.
hola, diles. Hola.
How are you?
Oh, very happy, and everybody here.
Hi, everything.
You are talking to a group of people. You're talking to a group of people whose hearts have opened to the Dreaming House and have been so generous. It's been so helpful for our programs, for feeding people in the communities there. And we thank you so much because you are the ones who are really doing, we're living our life in the United States. Well, actually though, hey, we have people on this call from France, Italy, Greece, England, Australia, Japan, Hawaii, and all over the United States, just right now. Fabulous.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much. Thank you very much to everybody who are in this moment. And we have to say that we're waiting for the moment. It's right the moment for coming back to Teo and enjoy and working on the journey and Teo with all what we have here in the Dreaming House and all these days. And we're working and keeping the Dreaming House as we want to see and how you want to see when you're coming back. But with open arms, we're waiting for everybody coming. And me and my family and everybody who is working in the Dreaming House, we have to say thank you, thank you, thank you. There's no way to pay, no words to say thank you very much for everything you make for us. And you know we are part of the family, and we are family. And my little message for everybody on the world and everybody who is in the moment now is from all my love. I wait to say that everything is fine, good health, but the most important thing, continue the vision to be in life happy, easy, freedom, and always, no matter what happened in the life, be completely together like a huge family, because this is the most important. It's necessary now in these moments on the world to be together all over in the world, not just our family, you know, all the families. Thank you for letting me to tell you this, compadre, and Teo, and the huge energy and love from Teotihuacan waiting for everybody of you, compadre.
Oh, thank you. Thank you, Alberto. We really feel that as a blessing. And it is a call right now that we are all feeling to be a part of something that changes the way that we live in the world, all of us, that we all share this love that we feel, this family that we feel. So everybody, you just have become adopted by Alberto and Veronica.
Yes, here are you family.
Yeah, we'll be right over.
It's a big pleasure to me, always.
Do you have room for 100 of us?
Yes, we make a place for all of you.
Wow.
We have a place for everybody.
Oh, that is lovely. Okay. So Emily, your art in the Mother's Room is going to continue to inspire us. But some of the things that I would like to be able to do is to share your website with all of our people so that they can participate in your art as well. Everything and anything we can do to include some of the beauty that is created from the dream, the love that you guys share there. So we'll be doing that too. So expect an onslaught of people looking at your stuff, okay?
Thank you so much. It's just such a joy to see all of you. We miss you all. We see lots of familiar faces here, and it's just what a joy to be able to connect in this way. And thank you, Francis, for all that you do for calling this great global circle of love for Teo and its magical medicine teachings, and for your support to all those of you who have heard the call of Francis to gather. We thank you for your support. And Alberto just posted some photos of his obsidian sculptures on his Facebook page. So if you're not friends with Alberto Hernandez, go friend him and you can see photos. He's got a lot of pieces here set up. So
Wow.
Some beauties.
Well, let's see. Let's see a couple, because it sounds like Alberto is boldly stepping into 1995.
He might not know how to answer your message. If he doesn't answer you, just tag me.
Oh, look at that.
Yeah, so lots of gorgeous.
I make this piece very recently, just for in a vision of from the underworld, from the Quetzalcoatl temple, and this is the mother who is there, and I make something very, very similar, like in very small size, but I make something like that in jade.
Jade, wow.
So jade.
That's gorgeous.
Wow.
And I make this other little serpent with a four petal flower.
Oh, that's beautiful.
It's hollow. It's hollow. I make something from this hollow stone. See, and I have many others. I already put. Pásame la virgencita.
Oh, wow.
Really
For a long time,
of the mother.
I was keeping on the window outside a little piece of a gold obsidian, very, very nice gold obsidian. And I created this mother, and then I make on the back Jesus,
The Sacred Heart.
the Sacred Heart. Yes, is in the same piece, in the same stone. I carve into two pieces. Yes, and I have many other ones who I tell Emily and my wife, do I going to put them in pictures?
Yeah. Oh, that's gorgeous. So while you've been making art, everyone else has been making babies. Is that what's happening?
Yes, the thing is, Veronica, she always wake up me 5 in the morning and say, go out, I don't need you anymore. Go work. Back 11 in the night. And she just give me 1 hour for comida, 1 hour for breakfast, and no cena. He say,
yeah, no cena.
I can go straight to the bed, not asleep, complete asleep, and wake up at 5 and say again, go back and work. And that's my everyday time.
Well, I think
Veronica, she's still cooking very well. Eh? She's cooking. That's
yes, she does.
Look me, I'm very, very skinny. She don't give me enough food.
Enough food, yeah. She keeps you on a tight leash.
See.
Well, I told everybody that that you have had all these children, and then finally a couple years ago decided to get married. So.
Tenía todos sus hijos y luego apenas decidieron casarse.
She was very smart before. She say, I want to look how you good worker are, and then I can marry with you.
Yeah, that's it. I want to see if you have to prove yourself. Oh, it's amazing. Well, it's so beautiful to see you. Thank you so much. Emily, thank you so much for your skill in connecting us like this. It really is wonderful. Nikki says, so wonderful to see you, Marcos. Veronica, oh, Veronica, we love you. We do.
I see some Tom. I see everybody who is here, Helene, Antonia, Yurid, and Farid, and everybody who is there. Thank you, and thank you.
Okay.
From our hearts to yours. Muchos thank yous very much, as Alberto
You remember when first time I met you, Francis? I speak Espanol, not English. Now I'm very good at speaking English, and that good I speak. I have to say always, muchas thank yous very much. Look, my it's very good.
Beautiful.
Enjoy your journey, everyone. Have a fabulous time moving through the plazas and all the sacred places and temples. We're on a journey with you here, every step of the way, waiting for you to be able to come back live and in person someday with all of the proper measures in place here. We've gotten really good at disinfecting people, disinfecting everything, and so we're ready for you when you're able to come back in person, and we hope that day comes very soon.
Thank you.
Thank you so much. See you soon, my friend.
The best way to disinfection is very, very strong salts, very spicy salts, and with a little tequila, and that's clean completely all our body.
I will let everybody know that that's our special formula.
That's the best medicine. There is not exist another medicine better than that.
Amazing. Okay.
This is the prescription. 3 little shots of tequila and 1 little bottle of salts, red salts, to clean our system, and it's going to be complete strong.
We're going to start our own export business, I'll tell you. This is what we can do. So thank you so much. Okay, you guys, we'll see you again.
Thank you.
Gracias.
Right.
Gracias.
Thank you very much. Thank you, everybody. Muchas gracias.
Thank you. Oh, how wonderful. These are people that that included us in their family. So when we go to the Dreaming House, and this is the place that you'll be sleeping in, particularly Wednesday night, you're going to be dreaming in the Dreaming House. This is like part of our journey. But to be invited to be not just visitors or tourists or have a hotel or something, to be in a family estate and part of the family, invited in as part of the family. So those of you that have had that experience, you know it. And if you haven't had that experience, you will, because you've just been invited to participate in something very, very deep. So this journey, this is still our introduction. I do have a little bit more to share with you. Yeah, we're doing fine here. The most unusual thing happened, and a few people that I've spoken with understand this. It really is true. Our journey is being designed by the sparkling radiant intelligence of, I can only describe it as the deepest life affirming love of life for life that comes present as her. It is a collaboration with all of us for sure. But this evolutionary gift of the mother's love for her child and wanting, creation wants you to express and be and enjoy the gift that you are. And what Alberto was talking about in his blessing was that there is a better strategy that we can find by becoming the gift that we are, and that strategy has to do with our happiness. This isn't superficial happiness like la la la, I'm just happy. It's not Pollyannaism. It's an essential joy of life in the face of grief, joy of life in the face of difficulty, joy of life and companionship in our companionship with each other, and a recognition that we are in extreme times that are challenging, but that contracting into fear and becoming less competent, less capable, less agile, resourceful, creative, all of that, compassionate, is not the path for us. So we're stepping into something that you actually have to find, that it's yours to find. It's a direct experience that I'm supporting you finding this experience. This is what this journey offers. It's in alignment with life. That's a turning point, really. It's a movement from the egoic separation and the defended, protected victim to an ecoic, connected being who is part of the flowering, part of the beauty of the dance between the trees that are our place of entry. So you're entering into the real thing here as a virtual journey, yes, and we're using this format. But the heart of creation that is calling to you is the vastness of you calling to yourself. And this is a place where we'll hear that call. So I want to share this one more time so that you can see that we will be, we have so many amazing people, Shelley Tadelbaum and Antonia Green and Elaine Silver and Pam, who spoke a poem earlier, White Star and Julie King, who I mentioned was just Kelly Hall. I got to tell you about Kelly. She didn't know anything about Teo the first time she came. So she was I think she talked to Pam actually as a friend. She said, should I bring a bathing suit? And I think Pam said, it's not going to do you any good. It'll just be shredded off you in the first 15 minutes. So Barbara Novak, who you had a blessing from, and Noelle, who's Kelly's daughter, Jen Freeman, who I will post her, go before tomorrow. Oh yeah, you have homework. I'll tell you about it. But Ron Tadelbaum and Ben Carlman and Jasmine has a piece that she's offering, and Randall, and you saw Emily with Alberto and Veronica. So if you haven't seen this yet, do take a look at it, because it's going to be like a guide for you to what we're doing. Normally we go to Teo, and the energy vortexes that have formed there bring us into the spiral. Instead of entering at what people used to think of as the beginning and going through some sort of process, we enter as recognition of you as a complete, gifted, magnificent, essential being here at this time. So this is something about your direct experience is about the necessity of you bringing the gift that you are to life at this time. You're essential. It's the essence that is being supported here. And as much as I love you and see the sparkling radiance of each of you and appreciate you, I have to tell you that this deep intelligence, this deep, loving, life-affirming presence is creation itself supporting you. Okay. So look at the calendar. You can kind of see progressive movement. If you happen to get blown out at some spot or other, I totally get it. I mean, our schedules are wacky. Just come back in and pick up that piece and see it. The different days are only going to be an hour long, so you can fit the videos of that into your schedule. This one at 90 minutes just went long because we wanted to be able to include visiting Alberto. So yeah, I'm so grateful that you're willing to enter into something that will burn your house down, that will restructure reality, that will orient you to your own happiness and your own agile competencies and the gifts of who you are. That open place, we will find that. There is some homework, okay? When you go to the private website, you know, when you, what was it, was virtual or something, you have a password that's instead of a passport. I put a piece about Teo that gives a lot of the different names and a lot of what happened and how it's worked, so that you can go a little deeper in your feel for this history that I talked about, the 13-layer cake. Because when we go through Teo, there is a energetic surfing that we're doing where Teo is actually revealing and folding and sharing with us. So you want to check that out. I'm sorry that the music thing, I mean, usually we share a lot more music. It just sounds terrible, doesn't it? Just, it's hard to have, I guess, guitars and voices and things. What, in our last couple of minutes, you want me to try? You want me to just, okay. I'll try. Oh. I apologize in advance if it sounds terrible, but that's bad. I'll have to get simpler here. Your crazy heart. Your crazy heart has brought you here to find a way to live without fear, a lifetime wasted playing it safe is not the way of your crazy heart. With each beat of your heart, the time has come for you to undo the damage you've done by living a lie, staying comfortably numb while your crazy heart is crying for love. So many stories of compromise in disguise, and the melodies that are sung to you by the criminally insane are so well designed to keep you ashamed of who you really are and what you really want and what you're here to give and what it's all about to live. Your crazy heart has brought you here to find a way to live without fear, the gift that you are. Living life wild and free is falling in love with your crazy heart. Falling in love with your crazy. Falling in love with your crazy heart. Thank you, everybody. Thank you so much. Thank you for your generosity. Thank you for being a part of something mysterious that is also real. And this journey will be such a pleasure for us to go together on. Do it your way, for sure, but do it. That's the call here. So that's it for now. I'll see you tomorrow at 4 o'clock West Coast Pacific time, which is going to be different time for people all around the planet, right? In the meantime, go to the website and do your homework. Read about Teo and do your Qigong exercises tomorrow morning. You could sneak in a trial run this afternoon just to see how you feel about moving Qi within yourself. Okay. Okay. Many blessings. Thank you. See you tomorrow.